Hello, welcome. I've come to a nice little spot today. It's a church just around the corner from where I live. I've cycled here. It's nice and quiet. There's a few dog walkers, but you know, I can deal with that. And they've got some lovely daffodils in the background, so we've got some nice yellow stuff going on there. And it works out quite well because the fragrances I'm about to talk to you about, I absolutely worship. Damn, that was an intro. So the reason I didn't say niche fragrances, and the title of this video doesn't say niche, is because niche videos get less views. People don't want to click for whatever reason. I get it, I get that people want mass appealing designer fragrances that are going to get them some compliments. That's absolutely fine, I love all that. But I think people who don't watch videos about fragrances that aren't designers are maybe missing out. I want those people to see this video. I want them to discover these fragrances that smell fantastic, not too challenging, not too artistic, but they smell superb, and they're going to make you stand out a bit more because they don't just smell like your typical generic designers. So here we go, got 10 superb fragrances in no particular order. I couldn't put them in an order because I love all of these. Let's start. Right, the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is a superb creation from Bertrand Duchefort. This is from St. Giles, it's the Stylist. This is a very smooth, easygoing, sexy scent. It's got a powdery, fruity quality to it. The fruitiness is coming from a beautifully done mango, and then there's notes like whipped cream, tobacco, incense. There's even a bit of pepper in here, which gives it a bit of zing. Another of Bertrand Duchefort's creations, which I love, is Timbuktu from L'Artisan Parfumeur, and he also works with mango and incense in a very different way in that fragrance. But they're two notes that he seems to really enjoy working with and that he seems to work with and utilise really well. So I love this fragrance, super easy to wear, very sexy, great for spring. The next one is from Memo Paris. It's probably the most well-known fragrance from that brand. It is African Leather. So this is a spicy, fresh, amazingly well-blended fragrance. I can see why it's so popular. I've recently just added this to my collection. I've wanted it for a long time. I'm so glad I've got it because I think the hype is real on this one. I get this sort of citrus-infused black tea vibe going on with this, and black tea or tea isn't a note that's listed in the fragrance at all, but it makes me think of that. I'd say the most dominant note in here, if one does stand out, is the patchouli. It's a very patchouli heavy fragrance. I can maybe find the leather here if I sort of really look for it, but if it wasn't called African leather and I didn't know there was leather in here, I don't think I would particularly pick that note out. But this is just so enjoyable to wear. It's very strong, very attention grabbing. Wear this if you want to make a statement this spring. So for me, spring is the time to really pull out the green fragrances, and this is one of the best green fragrances I think you can wear in the spring. It's from a superb brand called Fragrance de Bois, and this one is Cannabis Intense. One of the best things about this fragrance and why it is so spring appropriate is it's got this gorgeous green bitterness running through it, which I'm guessing is the cannabis note, and then there's also a little wisp of smoke. The cannabis isn't overpowering, it doesn't dominate, it doesn't smell like someone's been smoking weed at all. I think cannabis can be used in lots of different ways. It's quite a tricky material to deal with, but I feel like Fragrance de Bois have done it really well in here. This is a very smooth and refined fragrance. Wear this if you want to smell sophisticated this spring. For me, iris is a note that just works superbly well in the spring. I included Dior Homme in my designer spring list. Of course, that is a big iris fragrance. But these next two fragrances are very much centered around a different sort of iris, more of a smooth, buttery, earthy iris, which I just love. So this one is from Imaginary Authors and it's called Oh Unknown. This has a slightly earthy iris, so very different to that lipsticky iris that we find in the Dior online and in a lot of designer fragrances. There's also a really refreshing black tea note in here, and it's all smoothed out with sandalwood. I always get the feeling with Imaginary Authors fragrances that Josh Meyer has real fun creating them. I can just imagine him sitting there with a smile on his face as he's coming up with ideas for his fragrances, and somehow, it's hard to explain, but somehow I feel he manages to infuse that fun and that energy into the fragrances. Anyway, very wearable iris scent. It's got this sensual powdery quality, but also this fun, bright energy to it as well. Very good. Another bright and fun iris scent. This time it's from Gallivant and it's their latest release, Bukhara. This one also has that earthy iris or orris accord. Again, no lipstick going on with this one, but there is a refreshing fruitiness coming from really nicely done pear and apricot accords. And then it's got this airiness about it and a powdery warmth, all done with a real touch of class. Bukhara is a fragrance that is inspired by traveling, and it really does transport you to another place. And I think we all need a bit of that at the moment. The next one is from Roja Parfums. This was one of my favourite discoveries of last year. It's Burlington 1819. This is green and fruity, it's rich and full and sophisticated, as you'd expect from Roja Parfums. And there's also a refreshing mintiness to this one as well. And when I smell this, it reminds me of the sort of fresh smells that you might get if you take a walk through the countryside in the spring. There's also a comforting warmth to it. I love this because I feel like you can dress it up, dress it down, however you wear it, you're going to be smelling crisp and classy. Alright, another great release from last year. This is from Acqua de Parma, it's Colonia Futura. I mean, I'm really bringing the class today because this is just an absolute beauty. It's got that citrusy Colonia DNA that we know and love, but it adds a few more things into it, and it creates a fragrance that is along the lines of Creed's Bois de Portugal, Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum. Doesn't smell exactly like those, but it's in that sort of genre. One of the best things about this fragrance is it's made with 99% naturals, and I think that is a great positive step forward in terms of sustainability in fragrance creation. It's got this crisp, gentlemanly feel. It's maybe got some aldehydes in here. I'm not sure that there are any listed, but it's got a really invigorating fresh air quality. Acqua de Parma Colonia DNA with some lovely naturals in there create just a beautiful option for spring. Some really good stuff coming from Kajal Perfumes at the moment, and their latest release is just ideal for spring. This is Kajal Homme 2. With Kajal's online, I really feel like they're straddling the boundary between designer fragrances and non-designer fragrances, because it has the mass appeal and wearability of designer, but then it has the creativity and the quality of niche. I said it! I was trying not to say niche for the whole video, but I did. Anyway, you know what I mean. This one opens with this gorgeous, attention-grabbing, creamy orange pop, and then there's some green notes in here. It's a smooth, sexy fragrance, super easy to wear. It's going to please you as much as everyone else around you. Here's one from Amouage, which is a bit different from the rest of the fragrances on this list because it doesn't have the same fresh green characteristics. It's Meander. talk about fragrances that are appropriate for spring. This one actually has daffodil or jonquil in it, and it's a very warm and spicy scent. And I do find it uplifting for spring, but that's more because of the spices rather than any fresh or green notes in this. So it's quite rich and resinous. It's got a real oomph to it. It's certainly quite a strong fragrance. It's a good choice if you want something a bit more complex, something a bit richer, something a bit warmer, but still something that works really well in the spring. I'm going to finish with a real statement maker. If you want to grab attention this spring, then George Zaharoff has your back. It's Signature Royale. I get the brightness and the gentlemanly lavender of the original Signature pour on, but this one really amps up the sandalwood. So it's smoother, it's sweeter, it's creamier, it has even more of a sensual quality. I'd say it's probably more mass appealing than the original. So it's bright and uplifting, but it's also sweet and sexy. I'd probably wear this dressed up in a suit, maybe for an evening occasion. As always, quality is on point from Zaharoff. This is some serious spring firepower. Alright, that's it from me and my daffs. I hope you enjoyed this spring fragrance video that wasn't designer fragrances, and if you're used to wearing designer fragrances, please try some of these, maybe get some samples. I know a lot of these are maybe more expensive than designer fragrances, but you know, what price can you put on smelling fantastic and standing out? That's what I say. So I hope you enjoyed this list. Let me know what your favourite spring fragrances that aren't designers are, and if I've not tried them, if they come highly recommended, I will definitely try them out. Okay, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM, keep smelling good, and I'll see you in the next one.